everybody. Hi, everybody. I just came on because I saw that Trisha Hirschberger rated me, and I was like, aw, I miss you too, Trish. Let me see your comment. Oh, I miss you. I miss your baby. Woo, hi. I miss you too. One of my faves. Hi, you guys. Well, it's so nice to have new people here just in time for me to start streaming. Hi, Met Sebastian. Yeah, how the heck are you doing? Well, Michael Aguirre, I'm doing pretty good. I have so many people from so many places around the world. We have people from Serbia. We have this amazing raid party from Trisha. How are you? Your makeup looks amazing. Trisha, I appreciate it. I had to do this today. So I was like, you know what? And I bought a new shirt. Madewell has a big sale going on. And I was like, I'm going to get a new shirt. So, hey, Jockey. Greetings from Sweden. So much bokeh. I know it is. She dressed up for the audio podcast. Listen, if I'm going to do this live, I might as well put a tiny bit. And I'm streaming 3 times today. It's a lot happening. I really appreciate your raid, Trisha. I'm sorry I don't. I want to return the favor, but I only stream late at night usually. But I'm trying to add a couple of daytime streams, or maybe switch around my streams so that I'm trying to desperately get above this comment here. Cam the Human, thank you for the sub. Yeah, I know. I had 3 new shirts. I got them all for like $20 each or less. And am I at the library? No, this is my library. I wish it opened to a secret corridor, but I have a very small house. I would love it. So guys, we're doing Felicitations now. So I'm going to record. And last time I had to run because my baby was having like a tantrum, but I'll try to take a couple of you guys' questions before the end of the stream. This is all evolving, doing the audio podcast as a visual podcast again. Next thing you know, you'll shave your legs for this. No, J.K. Grammar. I will never shave my legs. Do I still have Will Wheaton locked up behind the bookshelf? Legally, I can't say. Hello from London. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Just got done. Has the raccoon shirt been retired? Well, Felicia rocks. I don't wear the same shirt every day, but actually I do. I should just put it on there. So much pep, not used to Felicia during the daytime. Am I peppier now? I guess I am. I had a little green tea. Anyway, what the world needs now is another guild season. Oh, that's very nice of you. From a father of one awesome mom to this raid to this one. Oh, classy librarian. Trisha is an inspiration to me as a mother. She is so precious and lovely and gentle and wonderful with her kid. She's the one who taught me that it's really important to read the author and the illustrator of the book to your kid, which I don't know why I didn't do that before. I am always inspired by her amazing attitude and just her general-ishness, her Trishishness. I need to buy a second copy of your second book because I don't want to write my autograph copy. Hey, that's wonderful. J-Flight says I look beautiful today. You guys are wonderful. Like I said, I had a new shirt and I washed my hair-ish yesterday. Thank you for the gift subs, Anonymous. My goodness. Thank you. That is so nice. So does being a mom to cats count? Yeah, sings in the car. Although you could lock your cat in a room and ignore them for the night. You can't do that with a child. So, yeah. You are the sweetest person ever, and I adore you. I can't wait till we sit there. I know. I am so upset that I want our kids to be best friends, and we live a little far apart. But also, we were making a monthly play date, and now it's not happening, and that makes me sad because I want them to know each other forever. Monenius, welcome. Trishishness. I know. Isn't it nice? I clean up nice. You guys are so great. So I'm going to start recording, and so I won't be looking at chat while I record the podcast, but I will try to pick up any questions from chat as soon as my other questions are done. Does that work? If you ignore a cat, it poops on the floor behind you. That's what I teach you, Dan Wally. Yeah. Will we see you on Supernatural this last season? Yes, I will. Guys, I'm not answering questions right now. I'm 120 pages into Embrace Your Weird. I'm enjoying it and learning plenty. Oh, that's great. T Porter 222, thank you for the sub. Okie Dokie's reading my memoir. Okay, let the felicitations begin. Yeah, I actually do I've done a lot more homework now that I know that I'm public and it's not just 10 o'clock on a day where I'm really super tired. Stellar Valkyrie, my kid is 3.5. Almost the same age as Trisha's kid. So, okay, stop looking at chat. You're right. Okay, here I go. I'm going to start recording and start my podcast. Felicitations! It is me, Felicia Day, and this is my podcast. Podcast number 48. You guys, this is the second inaugural to the camera podcast that I'm doing. So I'm recording this live. Lots of people are watching. Hundreds of people are watching. I'm not nervous. Because you know why? Because I washed my hair and I bought a new shirt. Oh yeah, you guys, I bought a new shirt. So I think my primary income expenditures, other than the basics that are torturous, have been buying calliope things. So being shut in a house with a 3.5-year-old really kind of requires spending a little bit more money on goods. So I have a box on the table, and it's not an elaborate box, but it's a calliope box. And so I allow myself to buy her a couple of things a week to put in the calliope box. And when I say, okay, you can go get something from the calliope box, they're usually like a little small Lego kit or maybe some stickers or a coloring book or a book. So of course I've set the bar way too high. So she's like, where's my calliope box thing every day? And I'm like, we don't have the income to get you a calliope box every day, but I wish I did. And so to be honest with you, I haven't spent any money on myself in a while, except for like rebuying sunscreen. So I wish I could get her something all the time. And there are a lot of little low price things I could put in there. Mostly Legos. The Lego thing is getting out of control. Also, there's a lot of really little pieces that I don't know what to do with, but maybe I should put my mind to it. And that's the whole point of Lego. Anyway, okay. So long story short is I subscribe to way too many newsletters in my email. And of course, when you see 40% off a sale, it's like, oh, you got me. So I bought 3 new shirts and I'm wearing one of them currently. Only the viewers who are watching me live can see it. It's a salmon-ish color shirt with a paisley pattern on it. And quite frankly, I'm feeling pretty fine. I also washed my hair and I put on some lipstick. I moisturized my face. I'm clean tip to toe. All right. All the crevices cleaned out. I cut my toenails, did not shave my legs or toes, but one day I will. We'll do that. So anyway, I'm really excited to be doing this live and recording. All your feedback online was really positive, longer length. Also, it didn't seem distracting that I was doing this live because honestly, I'm just talking to myself in a camera. I'm just trying to make more eye contact with the people who are watching me. And I'm trying to ignore chat because it is rolling while I'm talking and I'm just like, da 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 da. So this is just you and me, listeners. It has been, and I want to before I start, I want to give a shout out to my book. If you guys haven't done my book, Embrace Your Weird, it is the perfect time to be doing in self-improvement, rediscovering yourself, because quite frankly, we are all different people now than we were in March. And so now that we have a little bit of time to slow down, take stock of our lives in an existential, dreading kind of way, I think the exercises in Embrace Your Weird will maybe help you find a new hobby to add to your roster, or maybe to rediscover something that you forgot about that life got in the way of. So FeliciaDayBook.com, pick that up. Also, I want to give a shout out to Sean Sanderlookylook, who maintains the wiki hub for this. So if you guys ever are like, wow, what was that one weird book she mentioned last year that I really wanted to pick up, but I didn't pick up at the time? Well, felicitations.fandom.com is the place to go. Sean has everything in categories. So if you want to pick out recipes, places I've been, books I've read, TV shows, all that stuff, comprehensive show notes, they are all there in amazing order. So highly, highly appreciate Sean. So it's been 2 weeks. And so I was going to do a podcast last week because I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should just try it weekly. None enough has happened. Okay. Maybe if this was a normal week of my regular life, but I guess that regular life no longer exists. So regular life is this life. And so not enough is happening in 2 week span to talk to you guys weekly. I don't know if that will ever level up, but I will try. So, basically the highlight of the week or the last 2 weeks has been Ladybug Land. So I told you I was buying some things for Calliope, trying to kind of change it up, get craft things, all that stuff. So there's this place, I think I mentioned it last time, insectlore.com. So insectlore.com is a place, and I have no affiliation with anything. I would be very transparent if I were receiving money or free things from people. No, I just bought it. So I bought Ladybug Land, and it's adorable. It's basically a place where you can buy live insects for classrooms and home. And so for like $30, I got a little habitat for ladybug larvae, and I got extra ladybugs because I guess the attrition rate is probably pretty high. I didn't count, but because I didn't want the child to know that basically 4 out of 10 of those little suckers would not grow up. But that's not a life lesson I need to teach my child this young. She asked actually the other day, I think had sort of a crisis about death because we went to the tide pools in Malibu really early in the morning before people were getting there. And did I tell this story last time? I think it was last weekend. Anyway, I'll tell the story again. Anyway, we went up to Malibu. A friend of mine lives up there. We did some social distancing. We were very far away from them, but we did go down to the tide pools. We saw hermit crabs, which Calliope knew about because of ding, 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 Animal Crossing. So there you go. I am educating my child somewhat with video games. So she was so thrilled to see them in person. She even picked some up, and it was quite a thrill. So being able to go out there made me realize, hey, let's just pick her up something special. So I got this Ladybug Land, and it was super fun. And basically, the instructions are over a couple weeks, the ladybug are going to, they're little tiny dudes, and then they blow up. I'm not kidding. They just get to the point where they're just huge. And I guess we're on like a couple iterations of their skins because we're basically one step before the pupa stage, the pupa. I don't know how to say that without it sounding like pubic, but and then I feel like I'm being naughty. No, it's a science term, guys, okay? Pupa. Pupa? Is it pupa or pupa? I don't know. Anyway, it's pupa. Pupa? Just whatever. I always call myself Poopy in the games. That's my avatar name currently because everyone took codex from me because I actually made a show out of it. So pupa. Whatever. Anyway, so they come in a little tube and you get the little terrarium and you empty the larva into there and you watch them grow. And it is crazy. These little jerks, they really blow up, and you have to put water. They have this little pad in the middle that you drop water in, and like the visceral thrill. I'm not kidding. You guys, you should get one of these because the daily update of how these dudes are growing, dudes and ladies, ladybugs are growing is so fun. So actually the adults in the house are actually more excited about it. It's like, what are they doing today? So Calliope was also very interested, and they just blow up in size. And watching them drink, I got to tell you, it's like, remember like years ago when like watching, puppies was really big. They had the like Eagle Cam and live stream. I don't know. If I live stream these ladybugs, I probably get more views than anything I do because they're so cool to watch. Until you try to teach your daughter about the lesson of, oh, look, they're growing up. Look, and then they'll start fighting. And then, okay, so after about a week, they started attaching themselves to the outside of the globe to pupate? I don't know. Pupate. Okay, so anyway, they attach themselves into a little lump. And so basically, they're going to emerge from there as they metamorphosize. Like literally their body changes. Their whole entire body changes to another shape. I'm like, that would be amazing to be able to do. That's why that's how superheroes exist, because the idea that an insect can go and just literally like, oh, I'm going to just literally turn in. I want to turn into like Kim Kardashian for a day. That might be fun. I don't know what I do. Anyway, I just look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, look what science did for me. No, it's fine. I'm not going to judge anybody. So they started to pupate. I don't know. But some of them weren't quite ready. They were still crawling around. And so I'm like, Calliope, look at that one. There was one on the wall that was a pupa, but it was like just turning into a pupa. And another one started coming over and like smelling it. I was like, oh, look, they're friends. He's going to pupa. And then I'm like, oh, get away, because I'm not kidding. It was eating the other one. I'm not kidding. Mighty Morphin Power ladybugs, right? So it was eating the other one. I was like, yeah, why don't you go in the playroom? Because then it started like seizing and like trying to get away, but it was already half a pupa. So it started eating. I was so upset, you guys. I almost started crying. I was like, stop it. And I couldn't tap on the glass because you could drop the pupa. I don't know. You could drop the pupa on the floor. And it was just so horrifying, you guys. And Amy, the babysitter, and I were just like looking at each other like horrified because we were actually we're more into this ladybug out of heads than anybody. And why would you start munching on your friend? There's so much food on the ground. There's water. I'm providing you sustenance. Why would you eat a friend before you metamorphosize? This is really upsetting to me. So nature is a cruel mistress. Ladybug Land is not, it's like the Lord of the Flies in there. So I saw a couple of them eat each other. It really upset me. I have to say it was, but yeah, why would you eat a friend, man? It looked like and honestly, it wasn't like, you'd think a big one would eat a little one. And there was a little one. I was like, I don't think you're going to survive, dude. You're way littler than the other people. I think that one actually pupated. I can't say this word. It messes up in my brain. People are going to hate this podcast because I can't say poopate. But why would you? So then why would you start munching on a person who's just trying to metamorphosize? Right? I'm not kidding. 2, 3 of them. So like on the outside, there's like and they all face the same way, guys. So it's a little bit like the pod people. On the outside of the globe, they're just kind of vertical, facing downward, poopating, and then eating your friends. So I don't know. But then it said on the package that it would take 5 to 7 days for them to pupate. 2 days later, they started popping out. So I don't know if my ladybugs are more advanced than other ladybugs. I watered them pretty aggressively because every time I put water in them, they scuttled around and started drinking the water. So I'm wondering, I'm just wondering what happened. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? Are they going to like die faster because they had less pupation? Whatever. So current status is about 12 of them have popped out of their pupation, and they are very pale ladybugs. And you can see them kind of like, it's like a pop out, and then they're really like milky and soft. And then as the hours have gone since yesterday, their shells have hardened and they've gotten little dots on their back. And they went from, like in movies when a witch like is having a vision and their eyes go like all milky and stuff. It's real cliched. I don't know where anybody got that. Like they have like cataracts, really bad cataracts. That's exactly what they look like, but then they turn into ladybugs. So I don't know, man. I'm just recommending that adult or like these, and then also we're just going to let them go. So like she really wants a hermit crab, and I'm not even sure if I don't know if it's moral to buy her a hermit crab or if I'm going to kill it. Is she going to be devastated if like, Shell the hermit crab, because she calls, she has Fishy and Swimmy. That's her stuffed fish that she goes to sleep with every night. And then she hasn't named any of these ladybugs. I don't know. Name the cannibal one Munchie, because he literally ate a friend. My theory is that there's one dude in there who just had an appetite for flesh. It's the Jeffrey Dahmer of ladybugs. And that dude was like, I'm gonna eat my friends, and then I'm gonna pupate, and I'm gonna be the biggest, strongest ladybug. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a betta fish, because I hear you can't really kill betta fish that well. But then I'm going to be responsible for feeding them. I'm not going to eat the fish, okay? All right. So that's basically what I'm telling you. If you're really bored at home and you don't want to play video games, just get one of these things. And then you can let go the ladybugs where there's some aphids, and then you don't have to care about them anymore, right? And you can buy more ladybugs in a little tube and just put them in there. So you can you can make a ladybug farm, you guys. And there's nothing wrong with ladybugs in the world, right? They eat aphids and a bunch of other things. So yep, that's way too long talking about that. What else? I've been having a lot of meetings lately, producing projects. And I just wanted to let you know, guys, and I'm telling this to myself, but also you guys, it's okay to let go of things that don't make you happy. It's okay to not like something that you thought you might like. That might have been impressive to other people. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Turn away and stop the scheduling. Just stop it. And I am producing a couple of projects now. I took kind of when the baby was born, I just didn't have the creative strength to start my own projects. And I was like, well, I'll just work on other people's projects. And I have worked on amazing projects with amazing people. I have had an intermittent record of getting them set up, but it takes 3 years sometimes. And I have to say that outside of the ones I'm working on now, mostly all animation, which I'm very excited about, but I think I'm going to just stop working on other people's projects because, first of all, I'm in the mindset of if I have one meeting a day, I'm like, whoa, my day is packed, because the rate of urgency and basically the pace of life that I'm used to now is so different than before. And I don't know if you guys find this, that less is way more. And so I'd rather be doing less better than be doing more, which I was just always doing more. And I was always feeling strung out and stressed. And I was like, what is wrong with me? And I realized oh, maybe you were just trying to do too much. You were trying to be too much for too many people, and you weren't really figuring out what you need to be for yourself. And so I don't mean to, I'm not lecturing, and I don't want to make it all about me. I mean, it is my podcast, but I certainly, in having things forcing me to cut them off, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I miss that. I do miss, I miss conventions, but I don't miss traveling as much. I enjoy having a regular schedule where, and also, I don't know if you guys are freelance or not. So if you're freelance people, you can totally associate with this. Every day, it's like, what phone call or email is going to come in and blow up my day or my week or my year? And there's part of that I really love, but I've never had a regular schedule in my life except for maybe college, where I had classes. But even then, it's kind of intermittent and semester based. I never had to get up at 8 or 7 or 6 to go to school. I never had sort of 6 months where I did kind of the same thing every day. And the thought of it really made me want to puke. And when I had a company and I had to go to the office, I hated that kind of structure more than anything. But at the same time, now just having a regular kind of I do the same ish things every week. And then it's almost like a treat to do something different. And it makes me appreciate the special things I do versus needing special every day. So I don't know. Long story short is that I'm going to just concentrate on the things I write and create versus producing other people's stuff, because quite frankly, I just get a lot more satisfaction. I have a lot of stories I want to tell finally. And I think that they were let it dormant. They were scared of showing themselves because a lot of Hollywood people had rejected me for so long. And the ideas I have don't necessarily go with Hollywood. So it kind of made sense. So I'm really getting back to, I have a comic book idea. I have a couple book proposals I'm working on, podcasting, live streaming. All of these things are making me so happy doing them that I don't know how I can go back to what I was doing before. Although I do miss acting, but the idea of being on a set and having someone breathe in my face and what are those actors doing after hours? I don't know. So anyway, that's what I'm doing now. I'm also rewriting that big project that I've been talking about for 2 years, another rewrite, but this is one of the last. And I'm hoping by the end of the year, we'll see this project. Beginning of next year. At this pace, everything is 30% slower. So we'll see. But it has been a good life lesson. I've also wanting to do a lot of escaping lately. And so I want to recommend a couple of, basically, if you see a reflection of my Instagram, I used to only follow Hollywood people on my Instagram. Now I still follow the friends I follow, but now I follow cooking sites, Animal Crossing sites, and oh my God, cheap dream houses. There's all these things, guys. And you know how much I love renovation shows. If I go out of town, it's Law and Order and HGTV only. I've never watched anything else but those two things on the road. So, yeah, it's okay to change your priorities. It's okay to change your priorities, you guys, because if you're feeling stable and happy, there is nothing worth trading that for whatever success you're trying to pursue. And a lot of it is perception of other people. You're trying to get fame. You're trying to get money. You're trying to get validation from other people. And that's where we get into this anxious state of mind where we're like, I'm not enough. I'm not enough because that person isn't constantly giving me feedback and love and all these things that I feel even though I don't even know what I actually want to be showing the world. So, I mean, that's kind of why I wrote Embrace Your Weird. It's it was really a journey for me to figure out, hey, what do you actually want to do, Felicia? Who are you outside of pleasing other people? Because I think the internet sort of can get into a toxic feedback loop of like, I just need to be what you need me to be in order to be more popular and more successful. And that's kind of the business model of it. But psychologically, it starts yanking you out of your own body and you don't really know who you are anymore. So I feel so much more centered and happy now. And I can't say that I'm going to have a radically different life, but I'm certainly going to have a more curated life and not be running after things. Anyway, so back to cheap dream houses. So basically, it's an Instagram that basically is exactly what it is, cheap dream houses. So they'll list every day pretty much a different house in a different part of the world that's $100,000 or under. And like, you guys, we could all live in northern Denmark like so well right now. I mean, for the price of this one like addition in my house, like I could have a Swedish farmhouse. Okay. Now, granted, it'd be cold as ass up there, and I don't like cold. I've never even seen snow. So, that's different. But they have things from Portugal and Spain and Italy, and some of it does need renovation. But at the same time, some of the prices are so crazy good. It's just, and the pictures are so wonderful. I don't know what I would do there. I mean, quite frankly, I guess I could do this there, and it would be so fun. And I could write books, and I could raise Calliope, and she'll have an Italian accent after a while. Like, do you see how the fantasy keeps going and going and going? Exactly. So I just love it so much, and I want to recommend everything about Instagram old houses, and that's all I care about. What else? God, you guys, I have the most boring updates, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think you guys are probably just as boring. So I cleaned my closets out. And I found a pool cue from when I was 14 years old. And this is a true story. And it flashed me back in a crazy way. So I was homeschooled, you guys. And my mom I love her so much. She's kind of a wackadoodle. I'm questioning some things she did when I was a child. So one of the things that we did was I had a dance studio in San Antonio that I went to. And after my dance classes, we'd go to a pool place called Diamond J's. And so Diamond J's, me and my brother would hang out there. And my mom, she was really good friends with the owner. She would just kind of sit there and chat while my brother played Street Fighter and I played pool. And so my mom got me pool lessons, billiards lessons with this guy. I'm not going to name his name because what he was doing was kind of illegal. And he was 21 years old. I was 14 years old. And for some reason, it was okay for me to kind of date this guy. I don't know, you guys. I really don't. I don't want to go into details about it. But I mean, it was never like improper, but it was just like, what? Why was that okay? Don't do that to your child. It's not cool. Anyway, no, it's not the one who sucked my toes. I accidentally looked at chat. I'm sorry. So yeah, I kind of question why that was okay. But good thing, I guess he probably knew the legal reasons why it wasn't okay and nothing like that ever happened. But at the same time, he would take me to dinner and stuff. And I'm just like, I was 15, but still not appropriate. Yeah, it was gross. So anyway, but long story short, I did, you guys, I did learn how to play pool really well. So I have this pool cue and okay, so this is really the true story. So one year I got him this really nice Christmas gift, right? And I was probably 16, you guys. I was not No, I wasn't. I was probably 15. So anyway, I got him a present and he literally, this is what happened. He was like, I don't know what to give you, so you can have my second best pool cue. You can have my second best pool cue. So he gave me a second best pool cue and I accidentally left it there because he ended up having, he was like having intercourse with another woman who was there, which probably, I mean, appropriate because he was of age and I was not. So he had to do that somewhere. Fine. Good for you. So I left it there and then they sold that cue because it was a really nice cue, but then they gave me this other cue in exchange. And that is the cue that I ended up having in my my hall closet. So There you go. It's a Q stick. So it's a very nice one. Not as nice as the one that they sold out from under me when I moved away to go to college. So I only dated that guy for it was like 6 months. And quite frankly, here's the true story. So I was dating him, and I guess it was dating. It wasn't really, I mean, like I said, I was 15. We didn't do anything mildly, majorly inappropriate, although all of it was inappropriate for the record. And like, this is why I think this is a really, I mean, if we want to really get to a deeper issue, like, why are teenage girls sexualized in a way that is completely inappropriate, and media kind of, romanticizes it. And we have a cultural problem with all of this that really, really needs to be dealt with. But anyway, also people shouldn't probably do that at all. But what was my point? I lost my point. I lost my point because I digressed trying to assure you people, like, I am fully aware that it's really illegal. I mean, technically not illegal because there wasn't, again, anything inappropriate going on, but it was just really, anyway. So the reason why I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore was he wasn't that cute, but he really knew how to play pool really well. But then a friend of mine was like, oh, you're dating that guy? And then I was like, no. And then I like, so her judgment of him completely changed because I really didn't see him the way he looked. I just was like, he can run a table. Great. So I just want to let you know that that's my story and my pool cue, and I probably regret telling that story, but that was what happened. Also, I had a lot of baby stuff that I found out, and I just shoveled that crap out the door. And I found just like things I never used. Like, people tell you, you need a travel crib. Never used it. I gave it to a friend of mine who's having a baby, and everything's fine now. But I did, guys, I want to talk about this because I don't know if there's women in the audience who are listening right now who could associate with this, but I will not get rid of 2 pairs of maternity pants. And it feels weird. I'm like, can you just get rid of those, Felicia? And like recently, so you guys, I was very transparent with the fact that I did IVF. So I had to have doctors put my baby inside me. We had to make the baby outside of my body, the embryo, insert the embryos. The embryos didn't take. Then I got the baby of my dreams. So it all worked out after 2.5 years of work. My body was too stressed to do anything very good. But you know what? I got there. But I have several other embryos stored, right? And I don't have like romantic ideas about, like I have a 5-celled embryo in storage, 4 of them. And I know they're all males, and that's it. And so, I don't want another child. But then at the same time, there's this weird part of me. It's like, oh, I can't. I mean, if I donate them or dispose of them, like, I'm closing that door because it was so hard for me, then I'm committing to 1 child for the rest of my life from my own body. And it's just so hard. It's really hard. I just, I don't know what it is in my brain that I'm feeling. I mean, I love my brother, and then Calliope does preschool, and half the mothers there have like another child. And it's like, oh, there's 2 of them everywhere. And I keep seeing these 2 there. And so I guess I don't know what to say other than like, does it ever get easier to just pull the plug? Because I kind of have to physically pull the plug because they doubled my rates because I've had them on tap for 5 years. So it's like $100 a month. And I'm like, this is way too expensive for like a maybe, or I don't know. So I don't want to make a decision for, and I am not like a young person, but I certainly have many years left. Also, you can implant an embryo at any age, but I don't want to be like a 70-year-old with a 10, I'm not going to, you can't carry a baby that long. I don't know. And it's weird. It's weird. It's a very strange decision to have to grapple with. And my decision is just to procrastinate and I guess waste money on it, and then keep 1 pair or 2 pairs of maternity pants just in case, because they were super comfortable. So I don't know. I love having my 1 baby. I want us to travel the world together. She is not really into other kids. Every time I say, she came up to me a couple months ago. She's like, you will not bring another baby in this house, like really harshly. So I don't know. Anyway, that was another thing that happened. I have a flea infestation in my house. So my cat, I have 1 cat who does not go outside. Somehow I got fleas in this house. This cat, I have vacuumed everything. I've taken up carpets. She is still covered in fleas and dirt. I don't know what is going on. It's like, does she have a secret hole she goes through and goes outside? Guys, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to give her a bath after this podcast recording because I just don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end. I've tried flea powder. I've tried Advantage on her. She has Frontline on her right now. I'm going to go get Advantage, but I'm going to give her another bath. I'm going to vacuum again. I don't know what it is. And I'm vacuuming the chair. I'm vacuuming the carpets like every other day. Is that not enough? Do I have to get, and I don't want somebody to come and bring chemicals. I don't know what to do. I've heard that, I heard that it's just really hard to get rid of fleas and I have to come in and have somebody balm it, but I don't want the chemicals in the house. I have a baby. So, I'm going to have to balm the house, aren't I? I mean, it's a good excuse for me to like go to a hotel somewhere for a couple days, but at the same time, I don't know. There's not even, I don't have carpet. It's hardwood and tile everywhere with some area rugs. Anyway, so it could be bats, could be squirrels, who knows? So that's another thing that I'm really grappling with. Also, construction is on its way. We have an inspector from hell who made us take out some of the special expensive insulation that I put in my office to make it more insulated so I could do voiceovers and streaming from there really easily. He was like, you can go back and reapply to put that in the ceiling, but it'll be 2.5 months and another $1,000. I was like, what are you doing? Is it really that important? This is better insulation. Did I really need, this guy is out for us. We actually called him on something. He said we had to put like a ladder. Has anybody had this in construction? It has been a nightmare to work with the city of Los Angeles. The DWP, the inspectors. It's like, I don't know. I probably should have just moved, but it's almost done. So I guess it's a little too late. I should just sell it and go to Italy. You're right. You're totally right. I should sell it to go to Italy. Or, I could have a villa there. You could have a 7-room, you could have 7 buildings probably for the price of my LA. Well, maybe not, but I could have a nice house there. So but I can't leave because I have construction going on. So I can't leave to flea bomb my house because I have construction, I have to be here. So after that's over, maybe I'll flea bomb. And in the meantime, I'll be sitting on the chair watching TV and a flea will jump on me after I vacuumed it that day and I'll just start screaming and I'll get like all the hoses out, just sucking. I don't know. Okay, 2 more things I made a frittata in my Instant Pot. So any Instant Pot aficionados out there, frittata. It was so easy. I sauteed some mushrooms. I put some kale in it. I put goat cheese. It's very easy. It's just like a little bit of flour and eggs and milk. And you put it in. You have to get a ramekin and drop it in and cover it in foil. But it came out so fluffy. So that was my victory. And then my other victory, last thing is, you guys, I have I have gone down to first gear in Animal Crossing. This will be a surprise to all of you because you guys know last week or last podcast, I literally wrote a monologue for my villager Ketchup. It was bad 2 weeks ago. And I have to say my inspiration to write a monologue for Ketchup was one of the reasons why I'm like, girl, you gotta slow your roll. Yeah, it was, I think I have a very addictive personality when it comes to probably anything, but I've never done drugs, probably because of that. I think I would enjoy some aspects of, I actually wouldn't because the loss of control. I don't like getting drunk either. That's not exciting for me. Being completely in control of every aspect of a video game is very attractive to me. And that's why Stardew and Animal Crossing is so fun because literally every square inch is under my control. And that's why I think the uncertainty, I tell a lot of the people this who like come for advice, like I'm so anxious. I'm like, listen, your anxiety is going crazy right now because first of all, anxious people already live in the future. Second of all, we think we're going to predict the future with our anxiety. And those are the thoughts that are going through our head. Third of all, you don't know what the hell's going on in our futures because it's so uncertain. Every day brings something different. Any plans you're making cannot be planned. So your anxiety is probably like, I cannot predict anything. I can't even predict the worst things to happen because the worst things are already happening. So we're, in a little bit of a hard time right now. And so I think the comfort of controlling every single aspect of an Animal Crossing island was very appealing to me. The social aspect is very appealing to me. I have an amazing Discord community, discord.gg/Felicia Day. Please come and chat. I heard from a couple people who came into chat. It was a little hard to get into the community. And I just wanted to let you know, if you are having an issue, please speak up. Share who you are. Join one of the subgroups. It's a little easier to get into those. General chat generally is a little hard to jump into. There's a lot of people who already know each other. It's like any community. You just have to stick around and join conversations. And I just want to, I'm sorry if somebody isn't feeling the ease of jumping into the community. It's like 9,000 strong now. But at the same time, I would say that every sub category has their active chatters. So you can really start small and like move your way into the community. But don't expect to like be totally at home, because like if you walked into a party with a bunch of strangers, how would you feel, right? Same thing. So, but if there's anything that we can do to invite new people into that and make it easier to transition into the community, please, I'd love to hear your suggestions. Someone suggested an introductions channel where people could do a little paragraph of themselves that maybe we don't add any more chatting. You could just kind of like search through the people. I think that's a great idea. So we'll be working on that. So I have really cut back, and it's been very good for me. I got to the point where I was a little bit obsessive, and I kind of finished my island to an extent. So it kind of left me satisfied, and I was like, I have to walk away from here. It is getting frustrating. I was getting super irritated with catching sea basses because I was trying to get some more fish for Calliope to put in the, and I was just like, I don't have an hour of my life to give you to get freaking sea basses. I mean, the common fish are stupid. I don't want dace or sea basses ever around me again. I just want to catch a tuna and a mackerel. Okay. It made me so upset. So, I would say that I gave a tour of my island to What Good Games today, and it was actually fun to revisit after kind of a week of AWOL. There were a lot of weeds, guys. But at the same time, I think I'm just going to save it now. The great thing is that I love the architecture of and until something new comes in, I'm just going to be a casual tourist on my own island, log in occasionally. There's nothing I need anymore. I had this sort of like, when I had projects, I get obsessive with projects. And so I was like, I got to finish this coffee shop. I got to finish this, movie theater. I got to get this, and I got pretty crazy. But now that I have a really beautiful island that I'm proud of, I have all my islanders set, I'm okay to coast and be more of a tourist, because it's actually helped me a lot. So that's it. So it actually is kind of sad, because that was a continuing thing in my life. But Amy and I are still streaming. We're streaming tonight, actually, so we're streaming now on Wednesdays and Sundays. And just FYI to all you listeners, the D&D for the Guild is going to be starting back up in August. So we will run August 3rd through 26th, I believe, or 2nd, Sunday nights, 4 Sundays in a row at 7 p.m. Pacific. And in the meantime, Amy and I will be streaming on Tuesdays and Sundays, and I will be solo streaming on Fridays. Now, I'm debating whether to change that to a daytime stream, the solo stream, but I kind of like sitting back on a Friday night and just kind of hanging with you guys, so I can't tell. We'll see. So the last thing I want to talk about before I get into question, oh God, we have a lot. I've been talking quite a lot, you guys. So the last thing I want to talk about before I get into categories is San Diego Comic-Con. So today is the first day of San Diego Comic-Con. And I'm sad. I'm sad because it has been 12 years, 13 years since I haven't been to San Diego Comic-Con. And my heart is a little sad, you guys. It used to be literally the one thing I planned around all year. We would do music videos and premieres and our panel, and we would put months of work into it. It was literally the highlight of the year for us, for the Guild. I still remember that time when we all dressed in our avatar outfits. We went to that too small panel room where Joss Whedon was sitting in the front row, and we stood in front of everybody and we played that video, and it was like we were rock stars. It was probably the most amazing thing, because it was so crazy. And we were in a stripper bus, and Xbox was like, yeah, do it all. And there was a line. There were 1,000 people trying to get into our 400-person room, in addition to the 400 who were already there. And from then on, Comic-Con gave us, the Indigo Ballroom, because we proved it to them. We were grassroots, and it was such a wonderful victory to have that. And I can't even tell you the number of memories I have there dancing. I lost a tooth one night before the Supernatural panel because I was dancing at Nerd HQ, which was Zach Levi's party. And I went home at 3 a.m. and I had to wake up at 6 to put my makeup on for the 9 o'clock panel or whatever. And I was missing half a tooth, so I couldn't smile the whole panel. And I don't know where that tooth went. Did I swallow it? Did I spit it out? What happened, you guys? Who knows? We had the Geek and Sundry, the Geek and Sundry hot ass, upstairs at Jolton Joe's. Those years of terribleness, having Legendary buy us, and that first year where we rented out the whole stadium. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the superstar of Comic-Con. I invited all my friends to the party. It was so wonderful. And then you kind of all fall apart, everything falls apart. Or just, yeah, I also, you guys, I have veneers, I have like caps on my teeth. And one of the caps just literally had a little crack in it. And I was like, oh, I should get that done. I should get that fixed before I go down to Comic-Con. I don't have time. And then the crack turned into, there's no tooth there. So who knows? Who knows what happened to the tooth? We don't know. So anyway, and I realized that there's a con family that I have. And, there was a con family where Seth Green, and I don't mean to drop names, but it was like there were two con families. There was the fan family where I would see the same fans every year. We'd always have the Team Human meetups. We'd have the meetups at Jolton Joe. I would have parties where stars would come and they would dance right next to fans because it was just like the perfect melding of everything that Comic-Con should have been, because like most of the parties are closed to regular people. And I was like, this is bull. I want to open this up to everybody. So all my actor friends would come. We'd have this great DJ. And I have to tell you, like, I don't think it'll ever be topped. It'll never happen again. But they were wonderful memories. And we had amazing people in those, and one of those people was Grant Imahara. And I don't know if you guys know this. He passed away very unexpectedly of an aneurysm about a week and a half ago. And there is no joy like seeing Grant Imahara enter a party. He has the most infectious smile. He had a light about him that was just incredible. He was always just a wonderful dancer. He knew how to party, and he was just a joy. And I consider him part of my con family. We did a lot of projects together on screen as well, but it was really that con family. I mean, it was all year. I just look forward to hanging out with this small group of people who I felt at home with, who I felt like were, anyway, I don't want to talk too much because I might cry, but such an unexpected passing away of a stellar gem of a human being. And I don't think, every time I enter a party from now on at a con, wherever it is, I will always think of Grant. So anyway, and that kind of made me think, I read this really interesting article about Robin Dunbar, who is a anthropologist, and he was actually studying whether how many friends you can have, right? So he's a primate anthropologist, and so he proposed that our brains, in fact, have a limited capacity to know other people in detail. So someone actually gave the finding a name. It's Dunbar's number, which is about 150 people. So this theory says like it factors of 3 every time. So you could have 5 intimate friends. You could have 15 good friends. You could have 50 close friends, and you could have 150 friends. And I don't know if that's like inclusive, all inclusive. Who knows? So anyway, you could have 500 acquaintances and 1,500 people you could put a name to a face, which I know a lot of faces that I could put faces to name in a creepy way almost. Like I'll see a fan, I'll be like, hey, Mike. He's like, how did you remember that? But I used to have a much better memory. Now after the baby, it's like, but I'm just like, well, I started getting really panicked because I was like, well, who I kind of know my intimate friends, but like, who are my close friends? Who are my good friends? What is a good friend versus a close friend? Who's an acquaintance? And I'm like, oh, am I just an acquaintance with everybody? It may be a little bit like, it may be a little bit scared a little bit. Like, do I not? Because especially with Grant, I was like, well, we sat down and had a couple conversations together, but we never really hung out because I just didn't hang out with people because I was so busy, right? So I just don't. I'm worried, and I think quarantine has also taught me that the people who will fall away are not your good friends or acquaintances, right? And so some of the people who I didn't reinforce in a way would be in my 15, but I'm like, I'm not spending enough time with these 15. I'm spending a lot more time with the 50 or the 150. And I'm like, well, Felicia, who are the people who are going to be there when everything falls out? All the bottom falls out from under you. It's going to be the 5, the 15, maybe the 50, right? And so it made me kind of reevaluate the whole thing with Grant, but also just Comic-Con not being there. It kind of made me reevaluate, like, who do we invest in, right? I love my community, and I would love to see any of my community in person, because I probably spend more time with the community than I do people in real life. And I'm not saying I want to cut back on that. I'm saying that's a very important part of my life, investing in fewer people versus like trying to please everybody. And also looking at those relationships where you're like, well, I want to make them a good friend, right? Or I feel like they're a good friend, but I'm not putting enough time into it. I think it's good to evaluate. So just doing the little Venn diagram. We're at 5 intimates, 15, 50, all of that. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I even was struggling with 15 good friends, because like, what is good or close? Like, what is it? Close friends feels like 5, the close friends, and good friends. I feel like close should be like the 15. And I'm not even sure I have that many. I don't even know if I have 5 intimate. Like, what is intimate? Am I like, not in a physical sense, but like, what is intimacy? Is that like really sharing secrets that you wouldn't want anybody to know? I don't even know if it's 5. I'm getting panicked. I'm like starting to sweat. All right. Last thing. Let's, God, it's really late. Let's rush through the rest. Books. I finished The Goldilocks by Laura Lamb. It's an excellent book. It has a lot of layers to it. If you are a fan of progressive sci-fi, interesting world building, all of that, highly recommend it. Still reading Herodotus's histories. Okay, guys, it's the principle of the thing. I am now 58% through. I will not stop until I'm done. It will take another 2 months, but I wanted to kind of like tell you a quote. I have to have a quote of the week with Herodotus, okay? I have to have a quote of the week. So the quote of the week is, this story is about some dude who was, he was accepting quarters to his daughter. So back then, a dude would pick his daughter's husband. And I guess he had 10 guys who were hanging out trying to qualify to marry his daughter. So here's the quote. As the wine flowed, so Hippocrates, who had established a clear lead over his rival suitors, ordered the oboe player to strike up a jig on his oboe, and then when the oboe player did as instructed, began to dance. It appeared to the dancer himself that he was cutting a tremendous dash, but Cleisthenes, the dad, who was watching the entire performance, was signally unimpressed. In due course, Hippocrates paused in his dancing and ordered someone to bring in a table, on which, once it had been duly fetched, he began to perform some Laconian dance moves, then some different Attic turns before, finally, for his third trick, standing on his head on the table and moving the feet to the rhythm as though they were his hands. During the first and the second of these dance routines, Cleisthenes bit his tongue. The dad is like, okay, dude, appalled though he now was, witnessing such a shameless display of dancing at the notion of having Hippocrates as his son-in-law, he did not wish to make his displeasure public. But the sight of Hippocrates pumping his legs in the air to the music, however, was the final straw. Son of Tysander, he declared, you have danced away your marriage. To which Hippocrates retorted, Hippocrates could care less. And that was how the celebrated phrase first came to be uttered. So I guess Hippocrates could care less was like a catchphrase back then in Greek. And so this is Herodotus explaining why that catchphrase was used, right? So like if this is me, saying, oh, you're a typhoid Mary, and explaining what the origins of a typhoid Mary was. And also Hippocrates talked about himself in the third person and he was dancing on his head. Like, what a douchebag. Or was he hot? I can't tell. Also, I got through 2 chapters of boring-ass preparation of the Second Persian War, but the Battle of Thermopylae was in here. And I got chills when I read this, you guys, because Leonidas is the hottest dude ever. If anybody's seen 300, basically, that's what I'm talking about. These 300 Spartans sort of stood between the Persians on this pass, and they were betrayed, and they died. But the way that it is written in here, it's fascinating, but also, there was an oracle that told him he was going to have to die, or maybe they just retconned that. Anyway, I just got chills reading the descriptions of it. And It was incredible. They also exercised naked and combed each other's hairs before they died, which is like such a human touch. It made me tear up a little bit. So this year long, and also I'm going to listen to the Dan Carlin. He has a King of Kings podcast. If anybody's not listened to Dan Carlin, Hardcore History, it is like comprehensive. It is like a 2-hour, I mean, kind of like this, but it's a very comprehensive podcast. And it's pretty amazing. And the deep detail with which he goes into these battles is incredible. He really will describe the way the battles happen very interestingly. So I would highly recommend it. And I'm going to be listening to that podcast just about the Battle of Thermopylae and Xerxes. Because, you know, I imagine, I was like, Xerxes, the creepy dude from 300, but he was a fascinating character too. So anyway, interesting. I also, the other book I read over the last 2 weeks was The Turnip Prince and Other Newly Discovered Fairy Tales by Franz Xavier von Schönwerth. Franz Xavier von Schönwerth. So basically, and he was a oral traditional storyteller collector. So and this was lost for hundreds of years, this collection of fairy tales that he collected from Bavaria. And so he was up there with Hans Christian Andersen and the Grimm brothers and Perrault about collecting local fairy tales in the 17th century, I guess. But he was lost for hundreds of years. And so I was reading this because I was just kind of interested. And these are creepy, you guys. So they're unedited. So they're unsanitized. And so there's some crazy ass things in here, like cutting people in two. They're violent as hell. You know, like people get torn into pieces by four horses. There's one where there's one, I'm going to read you like 2 excerpts. There's one where Hans is a familiar, like kind of a dim bulb kind of character that pops up in several stories here. And Hans is, so the setup for the story is that Hans is this really dumb kid and his parents just give him away because people just give away children in this really easily. Like, I guess they were cheap back then. And so Hans's master decided to send the farmhand to a haunted mill. He was told to grind some grain over there. When the clock struck midnight, there was a knock at the door. Hans shouted, "Come on in." 12 fellows marched in and sat down at the table to play cards. Hans watched them carefully and discovered that they were all cheating. Without further ado, he grabbed one of them by the shoulders, took him over to the mill, pulled his pants down, and ground his buttocks down with the millstone. Then he carried him back up the stairs and sat him down. The horror-struck comrades fled, and Hans returned home with flour. The husband and wife Hans, the devil, so the husband and wife now despaired of ever getting rid of this kid Hans. They decided to send him to hell to bring back some money they had loaned the devil. The devil refused to pay back the cash and started to quarrel. Hans came running towards him with the ground-up buttocks of the fellow from the mill and shouted, "You can't get anywhere with this lad." So the devil gave him the money. It's really weird, you guys. Butt flour. Yeah, he made some butt flour. I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, so basically they're unsanitized. And like, there's one where it's called The Wolves. And basically the mom would send, was kind of just a total B. And during the meal, she should dance. So during the meal, the prince jokingly asked his princess how to punish a mother who threw her sons to the wolves because this princess did it. And she answered, she should dance to death in red hot iron shoes. And that's happened to the princess. And then the boys cheered, who were her children, and everybody lived happily ever after. So like, none of this is cool, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating because I guess these are just people telling stories, and there was a lot of death in them, and people were just totally casual about being drawn and quartered. And those are fairy tales for you. So old stories are just horrifying. It's true. So let me see. I've been playing Ooblets. So highly recommend that game if you are into Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. Ooblets is like the uber hipster version of those. I can't tell if they're actually honest about this, if they're tongue-in-cheek about it. It is over-the-top cutesy, so I think they're actually making fun of the genre, but at the same time, it's fun. You have little animals, and they have dance-offs, and it's super fun. And I can't wait to stream it again on Friday, so there you go. And then for TV, I didn't watch a lot of TV. I did watch 3 episodes of Perry Mason. Okay, I'm sorry. But you guys, if you've read my autobiography, you know that Perry Mason is very close to my heart, okay? Perry Mason is very close to my heart. And unfortunately, whatever they're doing with Perry Mason is not my style. It's beautifully shot, but Della Street is supposed to be in love with Perry Mason. Everything's just so slow. There's so many war flashbacks. Nobody needed this much Perry Mason origin story, okay? Paul Drake is an amazing actor, but like he's a cop in this version and they haven't even met. Like, okay, here's my question. Law and Order does a case a week. That might be too fast. Why do we have to do one case in 8? Why can't it be a happy medium? You do a case in 2 to 3 episodes. So we're not completely bored when you're just like stretching it out. So also Perry Mason is not my style. I had a crush on him in the books. Still not the guy I want. And I know that the miniseries is closer to the books, but that's not my Perry Mason. Okay. Questions. Let's do some questions because I've been talking for over an hour right now. James Webb asks, oh, I even have these. James Webb asks, let's see. I have some. Hey, have you ever asked a con if they would like to have you as a guest? Okay, so I'm going to do 4 or 5 questions. Also, before anybody leaves, my next broadcast live will be August 4th at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. So I'm changing to Tuesdays to do live Felicitations podcasts every other Tuesday. So just FYI. As always, check my Discord for updated schedules. Sometimes I have things happening, but it's quarantine, so I don't really have them happening. So Tuesdays at 3 p.m., Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m., Fridays at 7:30 p.m., and Sundays at 7 if there's Guild, D&D, or 7:30 if there's not. So that is my new Twitch streaming broadcast. I do have the schedule on my Twitch page and on my Streamlabs Countdown. So thank you very much. James Webb, have you ever asked a con if they would like to have you as a guest? Yes, I did want to go to C2E2, and many years ago I asked them if they would have me, and they did, and it was an amazing experience, and I loved it very much. I'm going to sit up. Oh, my butt. I've been streaming too much. Yes, so I have asked just a couple, but mostly I do have an agent for that, and they reach out. Unfortunately, right now is not a time to be going to cons. I think I still have one Swedish con on the books, but I believe that will probably get canceled. And I suppose I will not be seeing anybody until the beginning of next year. I don't know what is going to happen. So I'm just going to take it one day at a time. I'm going to have fun with you guys on my podcasts, on my streams, on my Discord, and work on my writing projects. So that is my near future plans. James, thank you much. Marissa asks, hi, Marissa. My sweet babies are going back to daycare, but all the staff have to wear masks. I get it. But I'm so worried about their language development and social development, not being able to see people's faces. Are you sending yours back to school? That is a very good question. Calliope has not been to school. She just started preschool summer camp, but it's only 30 to 45 minutes a morning on the Zoom. And I find that 30 minutes max is what she can look at on Zoom. So I would say that I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think it depends on all families, what you feel comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable having her go to a school. The school is not open. I don't think they'll be opening in September. Los Angeles is one of the hot spots of COVID where like every day is a new record number of cases. So we're particularly hard hit right now. And I don't think it's safe for me or her or my family to be exposed to COVID. It's not safe for anybody because if she gets it, she might be okay. I might not be okay. The people in my family might not be okay. And I want to keep everyone safe. So I don't know. I'm not sure. But I will say that, your concern about the mask is something that's really interesting that I hadn't thought about. It's something worth researching. I know that your babies will be with you a lot so that they're not going to not see people's mouths. And who knows, it might develop their oral skills a little bit better. But I do, it is a lot of social cueing that we learn in life is through the eyes and the face. It's a really fascinating, there's a lot of fascinating books about that. Just reading body language. We have micro muscles in our face that can convey a lot more. That's why we have, it's called thin slicing. When we see another person, everything about their face and their body, instantly within a quarter second, I believe, we evaluate that person and it ding, ding, dings the things that we kind of perceive about them. And we categorize them, called thin slicing. It's really interesting. So I would say that it could be a challenge, but I don't think everything's going to go so long term. If you think about societies where women have to cover their faces, which I have my opinions about, but at the same time, I don't necessarily know if there's any societal impact with that being a requirement. It would be really interesting to look that up, the science of it. But I would say, I was homeschooled. I didn't even study. I did fine. The short term for a baby, they can adapt in an instant, right? If you take them to a foreign land, they'll be able to pick up the language in 6 months versus you probably will never be fluent. So never underestimate the elasticity of your baby's minds. I think they're going to be fine. But you know what? You're a great mom for worrying about that. Scondi42 asks, hi, Felicia. I want to get back into Embrace Your Weird. I got your new book for Christmas this summer. I was so excited to dive in, but then quarantine ennui hit me hard and I stopped doing much of anything except sewing masks and freaking out. I'm in a much healthier place right now and I want to get back into Embrace Your Weird. Would you recommend starting back at the beginning after a long break or just jumping back in where I left off? Thanks for the podcast, Discord, and generally being awesome. Thank you, Scondi. I would recommend at the very least go back and do the exercises again. Do them on a separate piece of paper because you are not the same person you were 3 months ago. None of us are. And we might be better off. We might be worse off. But at the same time, you're not the same person. We are a different person each day. But when you go through trauma and an unexpected upheaval and things that you can't control in your life, this is where people really are tested and are forced to change. So I would go back and just at least do the exercises because the exercises are really meant to get to know yourself better. And you probably don't know who this person is, who you're becoming. You might still be in panic mode and you can never know that person. You have to be calm in order to know yourself and get in touch with your creativity. So I would say whatever helps you center yourself, be calm and be open to new experiences and a new you. And that's what I would do. So at the very least, do the exercises again, because I guarantee you they might be different. And that will be a fun discovery for yourself. Next question. Joe Bangles. I still think you should tell me your favorite cheese. Well, Joe, the way you phrase this question, it feels like I've refused to tell you my favorite cheese for a while. And I'm kind of interested in knowing why you think that. Why you think that we've talked about cheese before? I mean, you still think it, but anyway, my favorite cheese, I'll just tell you, I like a soft goat cheese or a brie. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, Joe, now this is a good question now. I actually like super stinky blue cheese. Like I want blue and green. I want so many microbes inside of me. I want it to be like hairs growing in there, okay? I like the stinkiest, grossest, cat poopiest cheese in my mouth, okay? I love goat cheese. It's mild, but honestly, if I can go, wow, that stinks in my mouth, the blue stank. It is the equivalent of a dog eating a cat poop. That's what I always say. Joe Bangles, I don't know if there are other questions that you still think I should answer, but you just need to throw them out here. Hashtag Felicitations on Twitter, or you can post in the Discord, the Felicia Adventures Discord. And Shonda Sandalooky Look picks those up, puts them in a spreadsheet. All the love to Sean Sandalooky Look. Okay, 2 more questions and then we're wrapping it up. Stephanie Houston asks, do you have recommendations for a podcast, a microphone for podcasts and voice work? Well, Stephanie Houston, good to see you. Yes, I have 2 recommendations. If you want to do voiceover work, I would invest in getting a hype mic. It is a little bit pricey, but it allows you to do uncompressed audio. And as far as USB mics, it is the best one you can have because when you do a voiceover, a professional voiceover, especially remotely, you want to be able to not compress that that vocal track. And I have a Blue Yeti in front of me, which I use on my streaming computer. And that's much better for podcasts and for streaming because the file is smaller. So basically, I would recommend one of those 2. The Blue Yeti is much more reasonable priced and perfectly fine unless you're doing professional voiceover, okay? I've even done, I have never done professional voiceover with this mic. I had to get the hype mic, but that's because I do actual produce cartoons where I'm being paid for it. I would not recommend necessarily investing that much money unless you know you're going to make your money back somehow. So that's it. I picked some very procedural project. Okay, so last questions. MST3K Temple asks, is there one particular event you can look back on that changed your career path that got you where you are today? Well, I can point to the Buffy audition where I went at 5 p.m. and I read for a guest star, and then they asked me to cold read for a part named Vi. And by the time I got out to the car, they had hired me and I had to show up the next day. So I guess they lost an actress. And it was supposed to be for an Asian woman, that part. And they gave it to me because they were desperate. And that changed the trajectory of my life very much, because I owe my career to Joss Whedon. I know that the platform he gave me, the support he gave me, the mentorship, he is an amazing person who has encouraged me along the way of my career. And I owe him a lot, creatively and also just logistically. Also, the one particular event that changed my life was joining a support group, and having those the women in that support group encourage me to film my my script, The Guild. I never would be here right now if they hadn't given me the boost. It never would have occurred to me to shoot something on my own. I was frightened. I can't even tell you the fear when they suggested it that struck my heart, because I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't know how to. I was afraid I would be, every single fear of my life, of my neurotic little life, came crashing down upon me. And their support made me discover something that I never would have discovered in my life. So yeah, those two things really, really changed my life in a really positive way. And, I can also point to other, I think we innately know those, the things that we actually remember are turning points. I can still remember, I think I talked about this last week, about there's a time on the beach in Jamaica, right after Geek and Sundry, a year after Geek and Sundry launched, and I had to choose between going forward with it with a second year and the quitting. And I know that I should have quit for my own sanity and my own mental health. And I didn't, because I couldn't be a failure to whoever I thought that was going to be. And ultimately I made a lot of great stuff, but I know that mentally I paid the price for it. And so there are those momentous, like, the Robert Frost kind of thing, where you go one path and the other, which side do you pick? There are a lot of those in all of our lives. And at the same time, just rest assured, we always make the right decision. So, because if I hadn't made that decision on that beach, then I might not have the baby I have right now. I might not be as happy. And who knows? I might have been much more mentally affected for having walked away from something that I put so much of my time into. So that's why I talk about regrets in my book, Embrace Your Weird. Regrets are not necessary, because there's nothing that I can challenge you. And I know that you can list several things that you would never trade that might not exist because of those decisions you regret. So there you go. No regrets. Exactly. So that's it. Okay, well, this has been Felicitations, long. And I hope you guys are enjoying the format. Please give me some feedback on Twitter. Please subscribe wherever you have podcasts. Please rate it. This is not a professional production. I don't have any ad sales or Patreon or anything. If you'd like to support me, please spread word, and subscribe on Twitch if you like it. And if not, if I have a t-shirt, pick it up. That's all. Thank you very much. I will see you guys later. Bye. Oh, you guys, I stopped my podcast. Yay! Let me save it. Let me save it before anything weird happens. There we go. Save. Okay. Wonderful. Look at that. It is, wait, was that a podcast? Yes, it was P-STEM-ish. It was, and I want to just put a shout out to the Wikia, which is so fantastic. I check it every week. Some nice behind the scenes in podcast creation. Thank you, Rock Candy. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here. My 50th birthday is today. Hector Clown, happy birthday. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I will be back at 7:30. So I will be streaming Raft with hopefully Fruity Kiwi, Langelas, Garuda, anybody who's going to be on our raft with us, and Amy Okuda. Don't stop the podcast. You guys can go listen to the podcast. I'm going to upload it, and I will see you guys in 3 hours, okay? I hope you guys, it's 5:30 here, so I won't be there. Oh, well, that's okay. You said you have a Discord, right? Yes, I do, you guys. Discord.gg/Felicia Day. Wonderful people on my Discord. I love them all. And Tomu, I'm glad you came here. Thank you for supporting. We have a lot of people here. My goodness. I think that maybe... So I don't know if I should take a poll or something. I just don't know. If I have more people here than a usual stream, I'm wondering if maybe a daytime Friday stream might be better than doing the nighttime Friday stream. So I'm not sure. 3 hours is too long. Well, I'm not going to stream for 3 more hours. My buttocks hurt. My right buttock hurts. My left buttock hurts. You have about the same. It's true. It's about the same number of viewers. So I don't know, you guys. We'll think about it. Maybe Amy and I could do a daytime Tuesday stream. It's midnight here in the UK. Yeah, so that's just basically Europeans can come and join us if we do 3 to 5. So I don't know. And also East Coast people, I'll think about it. When am I going to get a fancy pro streaming square? I have it. Take the step. I have it. It's in storage. So, but your butt gets hurt anyway. Thank you for the cheers, but Busboy Jenkins. So I'll see you guys in 3 hours, okay? And I hope you enjoyed the podcast. It was cool to be doing it live. I think it's working out. I'm putting more time into it, which is good. I'm doing weird recitations from ancient Greek literature. It's all Felicia Day. All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.